Well, hello. This is February 6th, and we are here to talk about where your next 10 paid speaking gigs are going to come from. My name is Tim David. We are officially going to begin in 1 minute. So I am going to allow some people to pop in. I did send an email to my list over at getspeakinggigs.com. So I expect a handful of viewers to come on in. If you are not on the email notification list, get on the email notification list. Getspeakinggigs.com. Anywhere you see a place to enter your email address, enter your email address, and we'll be there. We'll be there and we'll connect. Also, another great way to connect and to enjoy these videos is to subscribe to us on YouTube. Yes, there is a link in the description below for the YouTube channel. I highly recommend you hit subscribe and that you hit the notification bell, because when you do that, you will be notified whether or not you get an email from us. Okay, that means it is now time to go live with our content. Today, we're talking about where your next 10 paid speaking gigs are going to come from. It's going to be one of these things where your next 10 paid speaking gigs are going to come from. I'm going to cover all of the sources of gigs. We're going to go right down the list. And I promise your next 10 speaking gigs are going to come from one of these areas. Stick around, hang out with us. I'm going to do an introduction, a big fancy introduction in just a moment, but let's allow people to come on in. Hey, Mike, you're nice and early. We also have our 12 o'clock session with our private group. All right, let's go ahead and get this party started.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim David.
Woo, we gotta make a big splash with this one. We gotta jump in and appear in a puff of smoke, because this is a fantastic topic today. Where your next paid speaking gigs are coming from, right? Listen, do you want to do paid speaking? Do you want to stand on stages and share your impact, your message, and generate an income while generating impact? This is the place to be. I'm going to go ahead and show you we'll call it a map. We'll call it a map of gigs. I got it on my screen over here. I'm going to pull it up for you, and we're going to zoom just out enough to see the main point that I want you to walk away with here. Hello, Leslie from Austin. Welcome to our YouTube room. Let's go ahead and hit this, because we got to make sure we wrap up on time today. Okay, this is our map. I'm zoomed way out. I understand. There's more than 10 circles. That's okay. There's plenty of circles here. Plenty of ways to get gigs. I also understand that you can't read any of them. That's okay. That's okay, because what I want you to notice right now is that there are two big speech bubbles up here. Two big speech bubbles. Either your gigs are going to contact you, or you're going to contact them. In the chat, yes or no, can you think of any other ways that a connection can be made between two people, right? And that's where a speaking gig starts, a connection between two people. Either they contact you or your agent. All right, let's be fair. They contact you or you contact them. Yes or no, can you think of any other way that can happen? This is an important question. I know this sounds silly, but it is an important question. You can put it in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, you can put it in the chat. Make sure you let us know who you are in the Facebook as well. And if you are on YouTube, you can set that in the chat. Now, I know we're on a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to assume that you are thinking the obvious. No, I mean, all right. Oh, good one. There we go. We got clients enrollment funnels. We got referral question mark. Could it be a referral, which someone has told them about you, or someone has told you about them, in which case there still needs to be an introduction or a connection that is made. So, they're introduced. A referral is someone, again, let's say company A says to company B, you should check out Tim David. Company B goes and checks out Tim David. They come to me. Okay. Or company A goes, hey, Tim David, you should check out company B. And then I go check out company B and reach out. I have contacted them. Great point, though. Great question mark there. Great comment is referral. So I have two things that I want to share with you today. I want to share with you the sources of leads, right? The reason I asked that question, yes or no, is because I have done this over the last several years of my business and thought, how can where are gigs coming from? I always ask when they hire me, and how can I categorize these and how can I organize these so that I can make more of them happen? And this map right here, and it's a doozy, is the result of that. So I want to give you that. I also want to share with you what's behind this map, I believe. Yes, this page right here and this countdown way at the top. 2 days, 12 hours, 25 minutes. This is the absolute best way to get your next 100 paid speaking gigs. So that is going to be a topic for conversation as well. But let's get back to our map, because that 2 days from now, I don't want you to be missing out on this. Okay, so let's zoom in and let's talk about which one is better. Is it better if they contact you, or is it better if you contact them? Well, I will tell you from all of my experience, you don't even have to type this one into the chat. The more likelihood of closing the gig, of closing that deal, of booking that gig, the higher likelihood is when they contact you, right? If they reach out to you, it's much better than me banging on their door and saying, hey, please hire me. No, they say, hey, we want to hire you. It's a pretty good positioning, pretty good place to be. So that's where we want to start. Now, the higher up on this map you are, the more likely it is to close. So all the way down in the bottom. And by the way, here's what I don't have. Let's make a little disclaimer right here, right now. Here's what I do not have on this chart. Get a billboard, book a radio ad. All right. Yes, that could possibly work. That could possibly work. But what I have found is, again, this stuff on this map is just, we're going to give you a chance here. We're going to make it possible. We're going to make it likely. But remember, the higher up you go, the more likely it is. So at the very, very bottom, you can see that big circle at the very bottom. If I were to zoom in a little bit, you could see that it says cold outreach. And there's a lot of different ways to find leads. This is not what I'm here to talk about. Cold outreach is going to get you very, very low response numbers. And you have to do high quantity. Now, some people love it. Some people love to send out cold emails and do cold prospecting and pick up the phone. They like to bang on doors. They like to shake hands and kiss babies at networking meetings. They like to do that cold outreach stuff. Not for me, right? I like the high leverage activities. Now, what's the very top of the list? If you're famous. Now, if you're famous, that's going to change everything. If I don't know, think of a celebrity, an A-list celebrity, Oprah, I don't know. Oprah knocks on your door and says, hey, can you hire me to speak? She's famous. That's cold outreach. That's going to work, right? Everything changes when you're famous. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of hone in on where you should start. We're going to ask you yourself about your speaking business. For example, here's one. If you're to do cold outreach, but you don't have a very good demo video, or you don't have a website, or you don't have a speech, you don't know what you're speaking about. So I don't know why. And turn that off. That's strange. So that is a challenge. If you're trying to do cold outreach, you don't have the ability to stand out from the crowd. You could knock on as many doors as you want. I mean, if you don't have a great speech, if you don't have an offer that people will resonate with and connect with, they ain't gonna. You gotta have some things in place. All right, so let's go ahead and let's skip the fact that maybe you're not famous. And there's different types of famous. There's household name, there's tagline famous, where we don't know your name, we know what you invented, or we know what you did, or we know what your accomplishment was. You're famous for that thing. There is industry famous, where you are famous in the marketing space. You're famous, like Gary Vee is not a household name necessarily, but he's pretty well established industry famous. Or if you're like a known member of an association or an organization where you're a present and you're around and everybody knows you within that group, that is to get a gig in that group. Okay, so maybe you're not famous. Well, let's go down the list and let's see where maybe these next 10 gigs might come from. Maybe they saw you speak, which is great if you're already speaking. You're already out there speaking. Maybe maybe there's an association event. Maybe you do a showcase. Maybe you do a private event. Maybe something called low hanging fruit, or maybe you do Now, this is where things get interesting, right? Because if we go down the list, it's ideal to be at an association event. Why? Because associations are made up of companies and organizations and groups. And each person in that audience is a representative of a group that may have the ability to hire you to speak. It is a perfect showcase opportunity. And better yet, that association hired you so that you could add value to their members. So the association says, I think you would be a perfect fit for this group. We're going to pay money to get you here. That is a great place to be. A showcase, similar kind of thing. People are there to see new speakers and to get ideas for speakers. But even private events, I've been able to turn into speaking gigs. Now, I don't sit there. And this is very important too. And here's what you cannot do. You cannot go and speak and then cross your fingers and hope that more gigs will come from it. You can say, "Oh, but I do a great job." Fantastic. Um, oh, you can say, "Oh, every single gig I do, I get 3 more gigs from it." If that was true, then, it's like that game where you won $1,000,000 if you won doubled every day for 30 days. And the law of exponential, what is it called? Compounding interest or whatever, it multiplies. So if you do a gig you get 3 gigs every gig you do, there's no way that that is reality, right? First of all, because you, the time you're going to be so busy because of just how fast it compounds. Anyway, so long story short, something there are some gaps in your turning gigs into gigs game. I can almost guarantee it. I know I do 39 different things every single gig to turn those gigs into more gigs. 39 things at every gig to turn the gigs into more gigs. You see, I was in a position where I was not famous. Any of these famous. I was not speaking at association events or showcases. I didn't have any of those gigs. So what I decided to do was skip all the way down here when I was starting out, and I did what I call low-hanging fruit gigs. Now, I'm gonna show you a graph of my experience with low-hanging fruit gigs. Wasn't great. I have 2 graphs here I wanna show you. Let me just scroll down. I did a lot of, low-hanging fruit gigs. Those are free gigs, easy to book, whether or not you're famous, whether or not you have a website, whether or not you have anything. There's my first paid sp Here it is. And for 3 years, I just sort of struggled with paid gigs. I was doing free gigs, sure, but those free gigs were leading to more free gigs, and I just didn't really have the ability to turn those free gigs into paid gigs. This is without the bottom line, okay, the bottom graph, 1 gig in, like, 3 years. I know it's 3 years because the distance between my daughter's births, the time between my daughter's births. After that, I got serious about doing 39 things at every single gig, and after that, the exponential growth that we talked about, was, "Oh, no, you're having difficulty hearing me. Thank you for letting me know. Hopefully, those issues, resolve themselves. I will go and try to close some things, maybe even, um, you know, push some buttons over here and see how that goes." Okay. I think I know what the issue may have been. Hopefully that just fixed it. So that's the takeaway for those who couldn't hear. Without a plan, 1 gig in 3 years. With a plan, you can see the exponential growth of how gigs started coming in. Now that plan all started with these right here, low hanging fruit gigs. Gigs that beautiful. If you call 10 of these places or email 10 of these places, you'll get 8 gigs, right? They're desperate for speakers. They don't pay, but that's the trade-off. If you can clarify and say, hey, this is what I speak about, and it's relevant and valuable and important to a degree, right? It's easy to sell free, but you still have to sell free to make sense, if that makes sense. So you do the low-hanging fruit gigs, and then you multiply them. That is where your next 10 paid speaking gigs may come from. If you don't have any paid speaking gigs now, that is the most direct way and path to gigs. The other way and path to gigs that may work for you if you have done speaking gigs in the past. And by the way, you can also just rent a room and speak and invite people. You can just do that. You can record it, get video, post it on social media. You can turn that event and leverage your own event. If nobody wants to hire you, hire yourself. Get a room, invite people, and do a speech. Even if 4 people show up, speak to the camera. Doesn't matter. But the point is, people need to, if they see you speak, they are much, 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 much more likely to hire you. So make sure you're out there speaking. Okay, but if you've already done speaking, you've already done paid speaking, we like to expand our word of mouth. So I leverage strategic partnerships, AKA bureaus as well, fall under strategic partnerships. We leverage referrals. We start asking for those referrals. We proactively try to generate word of mouth. And then, now we're going down into this green area where it's not as great, right? It's not as great, but a lot of speakers fall into this category where they think to themselves, okay, I don't have any speaking gigs, but I know that if I go and I post on LinkedIn, oh yeah, if I go and I post consistently on LinkedIn, give away free tickets to an event to make sure you don't have any empty yes, that's a great way to do it as well. Yeah, keep an eye on the comments, folks. There's some good stuff happening there as well. All right, so you're going to post on LinkedIn, you're going to post on Instagram, you're going to post on Pinterest, and you're going to share your message because you don't have a stage to share your message on. So you have this platform called social media that you default to. And yes, traditional media, so books, those types of things, social media. And that may even grow to your own platform where now you're like an influencer, right? And you've got the ability to, email 10,000 people and you've got 100,000 TikTok subscribers or whatever it is, right? So your content may be where some of your next 10 gigs come from. It may be from your website. Maybe you just do some search engine optimization. Maybe you become Googleable, right? And maybe you do paid ads to get people to your website and you finger cross. Maybe they will reach out to me. Maybe they will contact me. After all, a search engine is where people go when they have a need. So if someone has a need for a speaker and they type in, I need a speaker into Google, and then you show up, it's better than just random cold outreach. Your own listings. So this is your listings on speaker sites. So not your website, but your web page on other people's websites. eSpeakers, Speaker Match, Speaker Hub, the Bash, all those different sources. And then, of course, any bureaus that you're listed with also fall into this category. So maybe your next speaking gig, your next paid speaking gig is going to come from your eSpeakers listing, right? Maybe you're going to start contacting them. Oh, here we go. If you have done gigs, you want to do some warm outreach to those past clients, this is the number one way to contact them, but maybe get some gigs. Now, this kind of cheating because they've already hired you, right? They've already hired you in the past. They like you, and they trust you. That your talk is a fit for their audience. They have a budget, right? It is like shooting fish in a barrel. You can reach out to past clients, whether they hire you directly, whether they refer you, all kinds of things can happen. This has been a big part of my push lately to get some new business in the door. And what's happening is I'm reaching out to past clients and they're saying, oh, I'm not with that company anymore. I'm with this new company over here, and we'd love to bring you in, right? Past clients, past prospects, people who reached out and said, hey, can we hire you? But it didn't work out for any reason. That's another great source of warm outreach. And then active referrals. Again, those active referrals are, hey, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to contact them. This is the time, right, to go ahead and do that. And that would fall under the warm outreach category. We're going to not skip, but we're going to go quickly through these for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're coming up on 20 minutes on this video, but I do want you to see the totality of this map. Intelligent cold outreach, replication method, replicating each person or each organization, other speakers' clients is a way to find those fish in a barrel, right? So if someone hired me and they are the director of executive, I don't know, blankety blank, Then I'm going to go and type into LinkedIn, director of executive blankety blank, and find other people that have that same job title. If someone hires me and they are the Florida Bankers Association, then I'm going to go to the Georgia Bankers Association. I'm going to go to the Alabama Bankers Association, and I'm going to replicate the organization. If someone hired another speaker that I want to emulate, right? Another speaker that is maybe a comparable speaker to me, then I can do the same thing. Well, this person hired that speaker. This organization hired that speaker. Let's replicate those, and that way I know they have budgets, they have events, they hire speakers, that this topic is relevant and important to them, etc., etc., etc. All right, and then this one down here, don't even really need to talk about this stuff. Are you going to buy speaking leads? Are you going to, look at those top ranking company lists? Are you going to, dive into those barrels where, yeah, you can find 1 million associations. Yeah, you can find 1 million trade shows. Just go to, Trade Show News Network, tsnn.com, right? There's conferences and events out the wazoo. You can find these places and you can find the person to email. But again, it is such a low return on your time investment, and you've got to have all your ducks in a row really well established. So that is our map. That is where your next 10 paid speaking gigs are coming from. If you want help specifically with the low-hanging fruit, because remember, for most people starting out, this is as high as you can get on the list. This is right here as high. You're not getting paid yet. You're not going to be seen at private events or showcases or association events. You don't want to pay to be at a showcase. So sometimes those things are scams. You really want to be careful with those. Unless you're famous in some way, right? This is your best option, low-hanging fruit. So to get those low-hanging fruit gigs, where to find them, how to leverage them, that is this course right here. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up today is because this course closes in 2 days. I am closing this course literally forever. There's a lot of changes going on in the Get Speaking Gigs community. The link for this course is in the Medium section below. And once again, 2 days, 12 hours, 8 minutes, and 25 seconds. I'm taking this down off the market. Now, a couple things I need to clarify. If you are already a member of the How to Become a Motivational Speaker, your first 100 paid gigs, right? Because there's no reason why, if you can do 10 gigs with the low-hanging fruit method or the snowball method, because you do a low-hanging fruit gig and then it snowballs into doors opened, it snowballs into further opportunities because you're doing 39 things with an airtight system of turning gigs into not just more gigs, but higher paying gigs, higher and more opportunity in better stages, and just jumping sandboxes. So if possible, let you know, I had the YouTube page open. So this video was being broadcast back to myself, and it kind of created a feedback glitch. So that's how you can prevent that from happening, is my best guess right there. If you are already a member, you will enjoy lifetime access. If you join before 2 days, 12 hours, 7 minutes, and 24 seconds, then you will get lifetime access. This course is closing, but that doesn't mean I'm destroying it. I'm just putting a padlock on the front doors, turning off the open sign on the front. You will still have access through the back door. Here's a video that shows what exactly in the course, but this is dozens and dozens of lessons and videos and templates and tools and scripts. Everything that you need, just like what these people are saying here in these testimonials, everything that you need to go from this. That was my first promo shot, by the way, as a magician. Zero credibility, zero work experience, college dropout, no books, no letters after my name, still in my 20s, just unmotivated. This is what a lot of people are doing to try to get gigs. Have a read of that. You'll laugh in a way that's kind of like because it hurts, because it's true, right? If you're doing these things to try to get gigs and you're not getting the traction that you would get if you were just in the right place at the right time, then have a laugh and commiserate right there in that list of 15 things. But here's how I did it again. I skipped right to the top of that map, went to the low-hanging fruit gigs, and multiplied them with the snowball method. So that is exactly what you'll see when you click the link below this video. It is called How to Become a Motivational Speaker, your first 100 paid speaking gigs. And I got to say, it is a pretty, substantial investment for some people, right? A few $100, a few fancy dinners is really what that equates to. And, at the same time, how much do speakers get paid to speak? Now, the answer can vary, right? But if you're charging less than $1,000, you're doing it wrong, and you're in trouble. Then you really need this course. So, most speakers are getting $5,000 as sort of the entry level fee for legitimate paid speaking gigs. That's what there's plenty of data that supports that, but that's what meeting professionals kind of discuss. Hey, when they're doing surveys, it's the very bottom rung of the ladder is $5,000, and then it goes up from there. So go ahead, check that out. I have to jump on a private coaching call, actually a small group coaching call. And we went a little bit over time today, but I absolutely wanted to be positive that I covered where your next 10 speaking gigs are going to come from. If you have an experience where you get a speaking gig that is paid, that comes from a different way, oh my gosh, reach out to me. Let me add that to my map. That is what I've been doing for years and years, is just adding lead sources and opportunities for gigs and where gigs are coming from. And hey, if you book a billboard or a radio ad and you book a gig that way, more power to you. Fantastic. Rock that stage, share that message. This is Tim David, and we will speak soon.